Hey guys, Jimmy from WhichWay here. Welcome back to Punch the Controller, episode 6. I'm your host, Jimmy. Of course, I already said that. By the way, there is a cat in my room who is going pretty spastic right now, so I do apologize if that gets picked up on the mic, or I do turn my head to look back at her. I look like a Mexican cartel member with red hair. Anyway. Boy, do we have an episode today. UFC 306, No Che. We just got finished watching it, and I do have to say, what an incredible event. It was, it exceeded my expectations. I did have high expectations for it, and I think it surpassed them. So I'm very happy with the event. And like DC and Joe Rogan were saying, they can very much go back there again. It was great. Not just for like a fight night. Do it for a pay-per-view, another pay-per-view as well, because it was just great. So, very happy with the event overall. We're going to jump into the first fight. First up on the list, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Orichi Lang. I had Raul going into this fight. Before this fight started, I took notice of the fight kits that the fighters were wearing. I did notice them during the media stuff during the week as well, but seeing them on the screen, they looked really cool. So, yeah, I was really excited to see how Raul would perform against Orichi Lang. But yeah, I think Orichi Lang is a really good fighter. I haven't seen too many of his fights. I was mostly watching this fight because of Raul. But yeah, not too much happened in the first couple of rounds, I want to say. Although when it did get to the ground, Raul was being active on the ground with his strikes. Most of the first round was on the ground, so yeah, there's that. The thing I noticed hearing in this fight was that the octagon was moving. You could hear like underneath when the fighters would step on a certain area of the octagon. It felt rocky. Like you could hear the structural, I don't know what you want to call it, the structure of it. So, and I only heard it for that fight. So maybe either they fixed it or it was just, maybe I'm going insane, but I definitely did hear them, when they stepped on it. So it was a little weird, but nothing that they didn't handle. Because I didn't notice it for any of the other fights. So, Orichi Lang was being a bit too patient when it came to the fight, and that's kind of what I thought led to his demise, led to his loss in the fight. There was a bit of back and forth was it at the end of round one? It was in round one, but regardless, there was some back and forth exchanges, very fun to watch. Also, speaking of hearing, the crowd started chanting Chiwiwis, which I thought was pretty great, pretty funny. I don't know if it was on the round 1 or round 2. It was round 1 or round 2. There was some big knees from Raul on the ground, which I thought were working great for him. This cat is going crazy. But yeah. Overall, I thought it wasn't a great fight. It wasn't a bad fight, but it had good moments. But yeah, Raul ultimately ended up winning the fight. And yeah, he wants the top 15 opponent next for his next fight. So yeah, we'll see what's next for him. And also Orichi Lang as well. So yeah. Moving on to the next fight, we've got the flyweight division. Edgar Chairez versus Josh Van. I was looking forward to this fight mostly because of Josh Van. I've become a I'm beginning to build momentum as a fan of his. I really enjoyed his last fight, even though he did end up losing. But he was winning that fight, I believe, until he lost, until he wasn't. So yeah, and this was a really fun fight as well. This event, it didn't have too many boring fights. Like, all the fights were pretty much bangers in my eyes, besides one or two. Other than that, I was pretty happy. Like I said at the start, pretty happy with the event. So, but moving on, the leg kicks from both fighters were working a lot, really well for both of them. I think Chairez was getting the better of Josh at the start of the fight, but then they started to kind of exchange with the leg kicks and stuff. I didn't really notice it from last fight because I must have been blind or something, but Josh is very boxing orientated, I guess. Very boxing heavy, boxing stance. It was maybe outboxing Edgar. I don't want to say that because I know I'm just going to call him Chairez. Chairez was also landing some beautiful combinations on Josh as well. But yeah, Josh is very boxing heavy, I would say. In round one, I want to say, Chairez dropped Josh Van. So that was, I wanted Josh to win, and he did, but yeah, he got dropped in round one, so I'd give it to Chairez, I think. Yeah, I want to say Chairez round one. Chairez then kind of stayed active during round two. Then as the fight kind of progressed, we then saw Van rock Chairez, and this is when, the fight started heating up, and it was a tremendous fight. Van started to then apply a lot of pressure towards Chairez. Chairez didn't like that at all. I wrote a few notes down that were just pretty much just not notes at all. They're just kind of what I felt during the fight. It was a great fight. I mean, what a fight. I'm going to have to go back. This is one of the many fights I'm going to have to go back and watch again because I really enjoyed it. At one point when Josh was advancing towards Chairez, I should say, I thought the fight would have been stopped. I think the fight should have been stopped when Chairez wasn't responding to Josh's attacks. A lot of back and forth in this fight. It could have easily been fight of the night 2, I believe, because we are going to talk about what the fight of the night was for those who hadn't watched it. But yeah, man, these guys were tough as hell. I expected Josh to I didn't expect a finish necessarily. I did expect Josh to kind of put more on Chairez, I will say. But they are really tough. The fight just became more unpredictable as it went on. It was pretty insane. So that's what I really enjoyed about the fight too. It was, I don't even want to say it was controlled chaos. It was just chaos, and it was beautiful. Moving on to round 3, I guess, round 2 and 3. Josh was doing a lot better, so that was good to see from him. And ultimately that led to Josh's win. So Josh lost his last fight only just. So I think this was a great comeback win for him. And yeah, really enjoyed his performance. So yeah. Moving on to a lightweight bout now. We have Manuel Torres versus Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Very good matchup. Very good matchmaking. Now, with Torres, I only saw his last. I don't know if it was his last fight against Nicholas Mota, but that knockout that he got on Nicholas Mota, I did see. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Ignacio Bahamondes, very likable fighter, very likable guy. I've seen a few of his knockouts, his highlight performances, if you will. Very impressive. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's. I will. Let's just say I will continue to watch him when he fights next. I'm pretty on that. I can't say hype train because he's been in the UFC for a little bit, so. Yeah, I will continue to watch his fights from now on. But yeah, this was I don't want to say a quick fight, but it lasted for however long it lasted. There was a big head kick. I think it was only round, one round. So the big head kick I noticed from Ignacio landed pretty nice and flush. Also a big right hand. I think it was a right hand that dropped Torres. Again, this was a very fun fight to watch. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I did enjoy the two lightweight bouts in this event were great. I think it was just two, right? It was this one and yeah, I think it was Bahamondes and yeah. So the two lightweight bouts in today's event, yeah, really good. Gonna have to go back and watch them. So Ignacio dropped Torres twice, I believe, in the very first round, and Ignacio wins it. So yeah, congrats to him, and we will also see what's next for both those fighters. So yeah, moving on to Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne main event. This was also a really not as fun fight, but it was a great fight. I really enjoyed it. I had Ronaldo going into this fight. Did not have Ode. Of course, Ode did not win. I thought he should have won. I'm gonna have to go back, rewatch the fight, and then I will have a second opinion. Because upon first viewing, I did have Ronaldo. I had Ode, excuse me. But yeah, I thought it was a bit of a robbery, but we'll see. Anyway, talking about the fight, Ode was off to a fast start, very extremely fast start. Did not expect him to knock down Rodriguez as fast as he did, so that was fairly surprising to me. Apparently, when Ode was going for his triangle, apparently it's one of his signature moves. Apparently he's done it in the past. Personally, I haven't seen it, although I've seen about 3 or 4 Ode Osborne fights. So maybe he has done that in the past. Again, most of this fight for round 1 was on the ground. And I was just thinking the whole time it was pretty intense in that it was, I don't want to say high stakes, but maybe I was just so focused on Ode winning that I was just it was intense because Ronaldo came back extremely strong in the later rounds. The thing that I liked about round 1, I don't know if they did it so much in round 2. In round 1, it was a lot of back and forth scrambles, I would say. Ode would get on Rodriguez's back and then vice versa, and that happened a few times, which I thought was pretty good. I think that's what made it intense for me. That's what I enjoy the most. But yeah, and also with that came the submission attempts from both fighters. So I think, Yeah, that was pretty great. A thing I noticed that stuck out for me with O'Day, he used his jab a lot. He used it very effectively, very well. I think that was, aside from his slick submission attempts, his jab was probably one of his primary weapons, I would say. Each time that they would get in a small exchange, I think O'Day would back out and then of the pocket, and then Rodriguez would kind of swing wild, swing heavy, and I think that was one factor that would kind of not work well for Rodriguez, kind of gas him out, if you will. But yeah, tremendous fight. Really enjoyed this fight. Opened for the main card. Like I said at the start, explaining this fight, I don't necessarily agree upon first viewing with the decision. I thought O'Day was possibly robbed, so again, gonna have to go back, watch it, and second opinion. But yeah. Moving on to what was my fight of the night from learning about this card, 306. I was looking forward to this fight the most. It's funny because I have not seen a lot of either fighters, really. I enjoyed Esteban's last knockout against Terrence McKinney. That's his name, right? Yeah, Terrence McKinney. I was like, that's not his name. Yes, it is. And I've only seen a few of Daniel Zellhuber's fights. I can't remember who he fought, but I'm going to look that up now because I'm extremely curious. Francisco Prado is definitely one of the fights that I watched. I didn't really know he fought against Lando Venata. Maybe I watched that. Yeah, I had to have watched that one, but I don't think I remembered it. But yeah, was looking forward to this fight the most on the card. Lightweight is not my favorite division by any means. It's an extremely good division, just not my favorite division. I was hoping that Esteban would win the fight, and I was also expecting a knockout. I knew that these guys would just throw down, and boy, throw down they did. So, start of the fight, Daniel was landing some great combos, getting that pressure onto Esteban. Nothing too exciting happened in the first round. It was a fairly normal round, as you'd expect from both fighters. Well, I say that, but then, look at their performances in their last fights. Round 2 comes along. Both fighters are throwing plenty of strikes. I think I noticed it more from Daniel first, that he was mixing it up to the body early in rounds 1 and 2. So I thought he was doing a great job of that. And then I think Esteban kind of caught onto that and then started doing his own body mix-ups as well, which I thought was great. Every time Esteban would hop into the pocket with Daniel, I thought he was having much more success, because it was kind of looking like Daniel would kind of force it onto Esteban, and Esteban was having a little bit of trouble with Daniel's reach at first, I noticed, because I believe Daniel is the taller fighter. They both look fairly tall, but you know what I mean. I think Esteban was having just a little bit of teeny tiny bit of trouble with Daniel's reach. But then that's why I say Esteban was having a much more success in the pocket against Daniel. Very fun fight to watch. Yeah, man. Very, very fun fight. You're right there. Some of my notes down here I have. This was a beautiful striking class. The striking class was in session for this fight. This is the main fight that I'm going to, the very first fight I'm going to go back and rewatch, You could study this fight, the striking in this fight. It was extremely fun. The pace of this fight, ridiculous as well. It was so fast. Like, it was really fast, really fun. In one of the exchanges, Daniel hit Esteban with a extremely dangerous elbow that sat Esteban down. Got a little bit worried for a second, but again, they were trading viciously in the pocket. And then I don't know if it was a couple seconds later, a minute or so later, Esteban rocked Daniel. And I think that's when Daniel kind of started to crumble a little bit, getting on the defense, starting to run away a little bit. One of my notes here says, wow. That's how good this fight was. Yeah, fight of the night easily. For those of you who did not watch this fight, you've got to be insane. You've got to watch it right now. Get off your phone. Stop watching this. Stop listening. Watch the fight and then come back. Fight of the night. Got it. Fight of the month. It's easily going to be on Fight of the Month. One of the best fights of the month. Fight of the year candidate. I'm seeing it right now. I've got to go back. What are we in? We're in September. I believe... I'm not too sure if Gaethje and Holloway is the fight of the year. I actually have no idea what fight of the year is so far. Am I going insane? Should I know? I have no clue, but I'm going to have to... I'm sure there's been something else as well. All I have to say for the remainder of this fight is, wow, insane fight. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Going to enjoy that. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of Esteban now. I'm a fan of both guys now, but Esteban really impressed me, and I think he has a bright future ahead of him. He has only got one loss. I believe they both had one loss going into this fight, so someone's one had to go. But yeah. Incredible fight. Cannot praise this fight enough. Everyone loved it. So, yeah, that is that. One down. Moving on to a next fight that I was fairly excited for. I'm a big fan of Brian Ortega. At least, you know, the way he fights, the way he carries himself, I guess. Versus Diego Lopez. From Diego's last fight, Dan Ige, Diego Lopez. Dan Ige is the GOAT. He stepped in on, I can't remember how many hours notice, I believe it was hours, but he was ready, he was training, he was ready to go. But yeah, I've been a fan of Dan Ige for a long time, and that fight was a good fight. For how short notice it was for Dan. I had Diego going into that fight, so which is fair, obviously. I had Diego going into this fight, although, you know, Brian was ranked number 3. And I believe Diego was ranked number 12, so, you know, 3-12, huge ranking gap, but I did believe Diego had this one, in terms of striking, at least. We did see Brian throw up a few submissions, of course, T-City. But yeah, Diego connected on Brian pretty early into the fight. It was a beautiful, I think it was a right-left. It was 1-2. But yeah, what a start for Diego. Heavily rocked Brian. Brian was in a lot of trouble to begin with. Brian, as the round progressed, Brian survived. It could have been stopped. Actually, could it have been stopped? Maybe I'm lying. I'm just trying to recall. Because Brian was in a lot of trouble. But regardless, he did survive. He did survive the early storm. Man, Diego doesn't necessarily have... Okay, maybe he does. Knockout power. He has knockout power. He has nasty power. But, I mean, it's not like Brian went out cold or anything. He got rocked. And I'm just trying to think now. During the Sadiq Yusuf fight, he got rocked very easily as well. Pretty much went out as soon as he went to the ground. Courtesy of some ground and pound from Diego. But, yeah, Diego has nasty power for a featherweight. My goodness. Like, I don't even think Max Holloway has that type of power. Now, don't get me wrong. Max Holloway has great power, but he doesn't have... what's the word? He has knockout power, but the power is different from Max, from Diego. They have two different powers, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Similar power, yes. Max knocked out the Korean Zombie. Diego has a few knockouts as well, so I believe he has a few knockouts. He knocked out Sadiq, and did he knock out anyone else? I'll have to go back and actually I'll don't have to go back when I can just do this, baby. Alright, what have we got? What am I looking at? So he knocked out Pat Sabatini. I do remember that now. Yes, of course. It was a great knockout as well. But yeah. I think it was near round 1, end of round 2, something like that. Ortega got clipped with the exact same combo that rocked him at the start of round 1, which I found pretty funny. So, yeah, it's just insane that he got... I'm pretty sure it was the same combo because I was thinking to myself, man, or at least very similar. Ortega just got rocked with the same combo. That's pretty insane, so... Hey, whatever works for Diego. Diego was doing extremely well, so... definitely not as fast as the last fight, as the lightweights. Bit of a slow pace. I think Ortega definitely got better as the rounds went, as the fight went on. Going into round 3, Ortega definitely needed a finish. It was looking like that way, but I believe Ortega's best round was 3. I think he was doing fairly well in the exchanges. He was having some success, I would say, against Diego. So, but yeah, I was just remembering and reminding to myself how tough Ortega is, especially against someone like Diego. So, last minute of round 3, Ortega got dropped. Wasn't looking good for him. Yeah. End of the fight. I mean, 3-12. Diego just jumped so high in the rankings. Yeah, another example of, the higher ranking is not always going to be the better one, but the better fighter. But yeah, good for Diego. We'll see what's next for Brian. I'm a fan of both guys. See what's next for Brian. See what's next for T-City. I mean, he's number 3. I don't know how old he is. But yeah, we'll see how many fights he has left in him. Maybe he wants to change a weight class, maybe, perhaps. But yeah, Diego is extremely close to a title fight now, I would say. So yeah, see what's next for him. Hey, we could see... Do you mind? We could see Ilya, if Ilya beats Max, which I think he will, could very well see Diego versus Ilya. I think Diego needs one more fight. Who we got a featherweight? Let's do a bit of matchmaking. Alex is still number 1. So, Diego just jumped all the way. Diego versus Arnold. No, hang on. Is Yair fighting anyone? Oof. Yair versus Diego. Diego either versus Josh, Arnold, or Yair. I'm just trying to think who Alex fights. Alex is in a weird spot. I say weird, but I mean, he's number one. Yeah. Anyway. I'm rambling on. But anyway. Great fight. Really enjoyed this fight as well. Alright, moving on to the main event. I have lots of thoughts on this fight. I think this is the fight that I had most notes for, even though it could have been the Esteban and Daniel fight. But yeah, looks like this one is. For those who don't know, if this is the first time you are listening to this podcast, bantamweight is my absolute favorite division in the UFC. This is exactly how a lot of people thought this fight was going to go. This is exactly pretty much how I thought this fight was going to go, except I thought Sean would have been better. I thought he would have been more active, and, you know, kind of less looking for a sniper shot. Sean was applying early pressure, which was a little bit surprising. I thought Merab would have put all the pressure on him, but I saw Sean advancing. Really weird. Early into the fight, I think Merab and Tim Welch in Sean's corner were talking, and Herb Dean had to kind of break it up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But apparently Tim was doing what he did for the Aljo fight. He was trying to coach Merab, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to have to read about it, see what Tim says. I'm sure he'll kind of explain it through a YouTube video, maybe his podcast with Sean. One thing Sean really does well is switching stances, although I don't really think it helped in this fight because Merab was just... he was moving. He was moving like a butterfly. Very hard to hit. It was a bit surprising to see Merab wasn't going for the takedown early. I thought he would have got the takedowns early or even shoot for a takedown, but he didn't do it as early as I thought. Rounds 1, round 2. He got 2 takedowns, I believe, and then 3, then 4, then blah, blah, blah. Well, although Sean wasn't being as active, he was very, very calm, very composed. I didn't see much panicking from him at all. So that was impressive. Again, nothing special in round 1, just an ordinary round. Nothing jumped out at me. Sean is a sharpshooter. He is a sniper. He's just looking for that one shot to put Merab out with. Wasn't having too much success with it. But talking about success, Merab was having success with his takedowns, doing what he does best. Hot take. My take. Not a big fan of Merab. I think now that he's champion, he just bet Sean. Oh, God, I think he's going to be another boring champion, just like Bilal. I cannot believe we have Bilal and Merab champions now. Oh, man. But hey, I haven't had any hate in my episodes, in these episodes, for my opinions and comments yet about certain fighters. So we'll see how long that lasts, hey? But yeah. For some reason, I did like Merab It was one of the earlier fights. I think it was an Apex fight. It could have been before COVID or during COVID, even after, something like that. Oh, I think it was Marab versus Oh man, what's his name? But yeah, he has so many decisions. Yeah, I mean, if you like Marab, good for you. He's cool. He's funny. I mean, definitely not a favorite fighter of mine by any means. I'm a huge fan of Sean O'Malley. Really like him. But yeah, someone has to beat Bilal. I'm hoping Shavkat can do that. And then if Umar gets paired up with Umar, I hope Umar beats Merab. As the fight progressed, it just wasn't looking great for Sean at all. I can't remember which round, don't ask me. They were on the ground against the cage. Merab started kissing Sean's back. Then he walked away. Merab walked away kind of because Herb told him to stop kissing his back, I guess. So he walks away. Bell has not rung yet. Sean gets up and kind of hits in the back of the head, side of the head, kind of. Surprisingly, Merab did not know. Obviously, he thought. I think, now that I'm saying it, I think Merab got up, stopped kissing Sean because Herb kind of said, stop this. Maybe he thought that was the bell. The round had ended, I guess. And then the punch hits. I actually don't know if it lands flush or not, but yeah, Merab is just like, what? Why you hit me? Why you? Don't mind the accent. I wasn't even trying. I can do a Merab accent if you want me to. But yeah, very weird, dude. Yeah, extremely weird. Merab is weird, man. I noted down, Sean just needed to improve his score. I don't think Sean won a round. It was, at one stage, it was 3-0 Merab. Then it could have been 4-0 Merab. Maybe Sean's last round was his best? I don't know, dude. Honestly, I don't know if Sean won a round, so. Sean didn't look great. This has got to be Sean's worst performance that I've seen to date. Like, he did not look great. He did not look like himself. Now, I don't know if this was because Merab was making it hard for him to hit him. But yeah, Merab did his thing. Merab did what he needed to. Ultimately, it was a boring fight. I did not enjoy this fight. Not really. Very little did I enjoy this fight. Pretty rare now. I don't know if it's nowadays, but it's been seen in my eyes for a long time that the main event is definitely never going to be the best fight on the card. It may be, what can I say? The main event could easily be the most hype fight of the card, but not necessarily the best fight. As we all know, right? We have seen time and time again that the main event does not live up to expectations. Honestly, I thought this fight was going to be better, a little bit better than what it was, but not by much. Like, we know Sean's a striker. We know Merab is a wrestler, right? Striker, wrestler. Classic, right? But the bantamweight division is one of the hottest divisions. It has incredible talent. Like, it's not being on hold. It's not being like no one's waiting to get in line, stuff like that. It's moving, like there's flow to it, right? Unlike, for example, now I'm going to say this, the heavyweight division, for a little bit of an example, you know, the John Jones thing, the Stipe thing, the Tom Aspinall, you know, or, and I hate to say it, even though featherweight is my second favorite weight class, Ilya has not been as active as everyone would like him to be, even though he's fighting Max. All right, we want active champions. Leon, I like Leon a lot. I really do. Was pretty inactive, right? And lost to Bilal, unfortunately. But you know what I mean? Like, the lightweight, Zalhuba and Ribovics, fight of the night, insane matchmaking, right? And it was like the second or third fight on the main card, right? I don't think enough people were talking about that matchmaking. But do you see what I mean, though? Like we've seen so many events where this is the case, right? But yeah, I really wanted this fight to be more than I saw, that we all saw. Yeah, I really can't wait to see what Sean has to say. Maybe I'll tune into the podcast, or, you know, the message that he has for his fans and stuff. But it's not like Sean is going anywhere, right? This is like, now that I'm thinking about it, is this going to be his first official loss that he counts for himself? On card, on paper, he has 2 losses now. In his mind, he could very well be whatever his wins are, and then 1 loss, you know? 1 instead of that. Can't be doing this anymore, Sean. But yeah, good for Merab. Don't really like him, but good for him. He's now champ. Merab has beat Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan. How good is Merab? Hey, how good is he? He's now champ. I'm not surprised he went to a decision. I mean, he is a decision machine. But yeah. Really disappointed in this fight. Sean will be back. We could play a bit of matchmaking for Sean if we would like. So Sean will now be number 1, I believe. You know what now? You know what? They could put him up against my boy Corey Sandhagen now. You know, that would be great. We could all see that dream matchup. A lot of people's dream matchup is Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. My favorite fighter versus Sean. Does Peter Yan have a fight? No, he doesn't have a fight yet, but I believe he wants to fight. I believe, yeah, he's been asked to be put in. You know what I mean. He wants to fight, so yeah. So Umar versus Merab, most likely. Davison is also in the mix now. All right, I'm really not liking the top 5 of bantamweight. It's really a bit weird. Could see some rematches, but I mean, I just don't see Sean O'Malley fighting someone not in the top 5. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see. Before we end this episode, I've been talking about the fights for quite a while now. Talk a little bit about video games just to end the episode off, I guess. I haven't been playing too much Xbox, I'll be honest. We can always talk about the Black Ops 6 open beta. I had a lot of fun with that. Was it my favorite beta? I haven't played too... No, I don't think I've played too many COD open betas. I played the Modern Warfare open beta, the 2019 one, I want to say. Had a lot of fun with that. But this beta was a lot of fun too. The Omni movement is really, really fun. Like, I had a blast playing it. I've seen a lot of clips, a lot of people using the Omni movement with the sniper and everything. I guess I'm gonna have to snipe when Black Ops 6 comes out. So, yeah, that'll be cool. I plan to make a lot of content from Black Ops 6, including Warzone and zombies as well, even after all the controversial zombies stuff that's been going on. But yeah, looking forward to Black Ops 6. There is, by the time this episode goes up, I will be almost finished editing my second Black Ops 6 open beta video, and it will be with Jackson. So stick around for that. Tune in for that. Yeah. Now, I did say I was going to get Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. I was investing my time into researching it. You know, I was doing all my videos that I look at and stuff. There's not enough end game content for me. Like, it's kind of... It looks to be like you'd be replaying a lot of missions and stuff and just leveling up, and, you know, I'm not kind of over that at the moment. You could say the same about Black Ops, really, but what I'm trying to say is, like, I would play the PvP, although I don't know how fleshed out it is. I thought it looked good at the start, but then maybe it looks a bit repetitive and boring. I'd still try it out, though. But a lot of people are enjoying it, and I'm glad people are. So, as I said, I haven't got it yet. I could, but we'll see how they go with the game. But yeah. What else? The game rotation that I'm trying to do at the moment, I've been off Valorant for a little bit now, maybe a week or so now. I will get back into it. It's just I've been extremely busy with stuff, I will say. But yeah, my game rotation, I've only got 3 games in rotation. I wish I had more to play. I really do. But until Black Ops 6 comes out, I don't really have anything to play. I've actually, since the Black Ops 6 open beta was out for both weekends, like I got to play both weekends. I have Game Pass, so I got to play the first weekend, which I didn't realize. I did not know. I thought it was only for people who pre-ordered, so I was lucky to play both weekends. So like those 4 or 5 days on both weekends, I was pretty much just playing Black Ops. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Modern Warfare 3, which just got added to Game Pass, is in my game rotation. I have not been playing it. I've only played it once, I believe, and that was with Jackson. Valorant is also in that rotation, so I'll be getting back into that. I am still learning. Very frustrating game, but still learning. And also, oh god, what was my other game? Valorant, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, and wait for it. Oh, and Fortnite, of course. Fortnite. I have, yeah, I've recorded a Fortnite video, so that'll be shortly-ish, if that's even a word. But yeah, so I've got a few videos coming out. But I haven't been, like I said, I haven't been playing as much. But I have been kind of focused on, besides the beta, Valorant and Fortnite. So I think those two games are two completely different games that are going to fuck me over once, I play Valorant one day and then I play Fortnite the next. The controls are just gonna, kind of screw me over. But yeah. That's it for video games at the moment. Wow, it got really dark. That's a shame. I do apologize. I'm going to turn my light on. We will do our quick segment of our picks for next fights. Now, I believe these are next weekend. Oh no, we have a break. We have another break? Man, we've got like 2 breaks. That's unfortunate. Alright, we got UFC Fight Night Moicano versus Saint-Denis. Which fights shall we pick for this one? We shall see, won't we? This one's a really good. I really like this card for a fight night. It's pretty. I don't know where it is though. I'd be interested to see where it is. So let's go. First fight we'll do Ludwig. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ludwig Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. I think Klein destroys Roberts. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Roberts at all. And Bahamondes actually knocked out Roberts, so that was very pleasant to see. Klein all day. Do we want to do this one? Light heavyweight. Iwan Kutalaba versus Ivan Urslin. For those who don't know who Kutalaba is, he paints his like whole body green. Pretending to be the Hulk, I guess. I have no idea who Ivan is. We'll take Ivan. Why not? I'm not a big fan of Kutalaba and his antics, I guess I'll say. Main card. Faris Zaim versus Matt Frivola. I've seen both guys. I do like Matt Frivola. I really do when he doesn't get knocked out. And then Fari is 15-4. This one's a hard one. I'm going to take Matt. I don't know if that's the right move, but yeah, I'm going to take Matt. Moving on, we've got Morgan Charrier. Is he the pirate? Oh, the last pirate. Okay. Really enjoyed his last performances. We've got Gabriel Miranda. I'll take Charrier. If that's how you pronounce his last name? But yeah. Next up, we got Nazardine Imavov. Do not like versus Brandon Allen. I'm not too much of a fan, but I mean I like Allen more than Imavov. I'd probably take, but Allen has pretty good submissions, I guess. I'll go Allen. Make it nice and quick, Allen. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Kevin Drusay out of City Kickboxing Now versus Brian Battle. I really don't want any of these guys to lose. But I think, it's so hard. I think Battle takes it. Maybe just. It's hard. I'll take Brian. Doing it. And then we'll do the main event. Renato Money Moicano versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Not a big fan of Moicano. starting to really like Benoit. He was doing well against Dustin until he wasn't. Reckless, I guess. Hinato got dropped in his last fight, I believe, but still won. I'm going to take Benoit. Yeah, we'll go Benoit. So yeah, I guess that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode. Let me know what you thought of UFC 306. No Che. But yeah, really enjoyed the event overall. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you like what you saw. And I will see you for the next episode I make. Peace.